everyone, welcome back to my workshop and welcome back to Faithful Ewe. My name's Hazel and I live in Mid Wales and I'm a spinner. I do some weaving, I'm an avid knitter, I do crochet, I do sewing, I do gardening, I do all sorts of different things. And I've been wanting to put a course together for a while on drum carding and carding wool. I started recording it back in October when I was doing Vlogtober and I got COVID. And then life got in the way and it got cold and the winter set in. Christmas got in the way and I never got round to finish filming it. Now I stored all the stuff, the footage that I had done, I stored on an external hard drive, and unfortunately that drive broke and had to go back to Amazon along with all my video footage and everything else that I'd done. Now I managed to find a few bits on my laptop and I've put the first two videos together. And I decided what was going to be the one video is now going to be two, because it was going to go on for too long. I want them only to be about 20 minutes long each section. So it's not too much for you to take in. I'm not just going on and on and on and you're not really understanding what I'm trying to get across to you. So I've decided to split the first part into two. And this first part today, we're going to be talking about carders and what you can use for carding wool in preparation for spinning, felting, and any other crafts that you want to do, needle felting, anything that you want to do with wool. So the first thing I'm going to be talking to you about is hand carders, and then we're going to have a look at a blending board, and then we're going to have a look at my drum carder. So that's what we're going to do today. There are other things that you can use. You can use a blending hackle. You can use combs, and there's also a box that you can use with like a swinging hammock in it, which I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now, and it has nails coming out of it and it teases the wool apart and stretches the fibres, and then you can put them through your drum carder. It's ideal for things that like raw wool that comes straight off the sheep when they're all matted and gnarled up. It swings backwards and forwards, it gets all nicely stretched out. And then you can then put it through the drum carder or put it through your hand carders so it doesn't wreck your carding cloth. But I haven't got any of those. I think I may have a blending hackle, but I've never used it. I did try making one once, but I've only used it once, and that was on alpaca. My preferred thing to use is a drum carder. This first video was going to be split in two, but now it was going to be one episode, but as I say, it's going to be split into two. The first part is going to be about the carders, and then the second part is going to be about choosing the fibre and putting it through the drum carder. And then we're going to be taking it off into Rolex in the second video. Then the third video I'm going to be doing it into a bat, and then the fourth one we're going to be taking it off with a diz, which is a round disc with two holes in it, and then you pull it through the hole and then it comes off like a big long sausage, which I can't lay my hand on that right now, otherwise I would show you. I've made one out of a piece of slate, but I can't find it right now, so I won't bother looking for it while I'm on camera. I've got a new mug, just thought you might like to see it. Got it off my brother. It says knitting keeps me from unravelling, which is very true. And I've got a drink of hot chocolate today. So it's just starting to go dark here. It is January. I think it's January the 17th today. And we had a frost overnight, so it's very cold. So excuse me if I'm coughing and if I look cold, but the cold's getting to my chest. So the first thing we're going to look at is hand carders, and that's these. These are the small version. These are going to be for sale in my shop if anybody does want them. I'm going to be selling them as a single or as a double, because sometimes they're very handy for getting fibre out of the drum carder and out of your blending board. But I use these when I'm going to card things like alpaca and very fine wools like camel hair and rabbit fur and things like that. I like to use these because they've got very fine teeth, and it goes through the wool a lot better than the drum carder, because I've got a coarse tooth drum carder. I can get a fine tooth comb carder, and I will get one at some point, but I just don't have £200 at the moment to buy one. So I use these. These are very handy. They're not that expensive, but they're very handy to use and very handy to keep clean. This is the bigger version of that small version. and I use these for quite a lot of things. When it comes to things that are matted and things that are snarled up or doing locks, I like to comb them out in my hand carders, because you can stretch the fibres across like that, and then you do that. See, I can find you some fibre and I'll show you, but these are dirty at the moment, so we need something that's clean. So this is just some Swarbles fleece, and it's unwashed. So what you do is you just tease the fibres apart like that, and then you stretch it out onto the carder. I'll just show you quickly, because it's not really what I want to cover today, just to give you an idea. You stretch your fibres out, you take your other brush and you pop it on the opposite direction and you card. You're supposed to put it on your lap, and you transfer it over to the other carder, and then you can pull it off. Now that's ready now to go through the drum carder, and it's soft enough with no matting, no knots, and the initial dirt has fell out. So that's that. That's how you would use a hand carder, and that's whether you're using this one or whether you're using this one. Now you can clean use it to clean the carder out. See, there's some more fibre that's come out my carders. So that's how you use them too. These incidentally are about £40, I think, £45–50 on the internet. I bought them relatively cheap, but I bought them about 10 years ago when I started spinning. So I've had these a long time. I don't use them as often as I used to, because I now have my drum carder, so I don't need to use these anymore. But I do still use them from time to time. As I say, when fleece comes in from the farmer, it's quite matted up and it needs separating. So I'll use these first before I put it through my drum carder, because what I don't want to do is wreck the teeth on my drum carder. So that's them. Now another thing you can make yourself is a thing called a blending board. Now I made this myself just on a piece of ordinary plywood, this thing here, and then you would staple gun the cloth onto it, and it is just ordinary teeth like what you would get on a drum carder, but on a flat board. And again, you would use it pretty much the same way. You put the fibres on like that, and then you would use a comb or one of these flick brushes to take it off that way, or you can take it off as a rolag or a bat, like I'll be doing on my drum carder. You can also smooth it out with a dog brush, one of these, and again just get your cloth and smooth it down without getting my hair, like that. And then you would fill the whole board, this whole board here would be full of wool, and then you would take a knitting needle and release it from the comb. Bit difficult to do when I'm trying to show you and I can't put it flat. Yeah, so this is the blending board. It's got a little bit of fibre on it, but yeah, you can use that in place of a drum carder, so that's really easy to use. I will do a video about how to use a blending board, but I'm not going to do it today because I want to focus mainly on the drum carder. So we'll focus on the drum carder today. So I'm just going to turn you around and I'll show you my drum carder. Right, so this is my drum carder. It's called a classic carder by a company called Classic, and it's called a jumbo carder. These are about £500 nowadays to buy them, and you can choose the cloth that you want on the top, whether you're fine, medium or coarse, and I got the coarse cloth because I want to do raw wool. I want to be able to do raw wool on it, but today we are going to be doing merino and alpaca. So I've cleaned the drum and it's all ready to use. So yeah, this is called the liquor drum, and then this is the big drum, and you feed your fibre through here. It goes underneath this drum, comes out here and goes on there. This is the liquor drum, and this is the main drum. Here, this is the main drum. Now you put your fibre on the table bit here, and your drum carder should be clamped to the table, but mine isn't. Then you put it through, it comes through under there, through here, round the drum. Like that. Do another bit. You tease your fibres apart slightly, just to loosen them up. Like that. So you need to have it clamped to the table to secure it, because when you're putting a lot of fibre through, it has a tendency to move about, and you don't want to damage your drum. Just for the purpose of showing you today, I couldn't find my clamp, and I wanted to get on with the video before it goes dark. And that's all you do, and then when you're done, you find the bar here, put your needle or whatever underneath, and then it'll come off. It will just pull off, but you just want your little stick underneath just to loosen the fibres so you can pull. And then they're nicely carded. Now this is raw wool, so it responds differently to the carder, but yeah, as you can see, it's made it all nice and fluffy. For the purpose of this video, this is what we're going to be using, and this is our fibre. Right, so that's it for the first bit, and that's just a little whistle-stop tour of some implements that you can use for carding wool. As I say, we're going to use the drum carder because that's my preferred method. It's quicker, it's easier, I can put an awful lot of fibre through, I can card 100 grams of fibre in one go, and it saves my arms as well. So yeah, so I'm going to use that for the purpose of this little series, and it's really easy if you haven't got a drum carder to make one of these. And this is the blending board again. So the carding cloth you can buy from Wingham's on the internet, Wingham Woolworks, and I think I paid about £60 for my carding cloth, and at the time that was a lot of money to me, but I've had it for about 8 years now, so it's definitely been worth it, and I do use it, but I haven't used it for a while because I've had this really good drum carder. The classic carders are brilliant carders. I've had an Ashford before, but this classic carder is brilliant because it does have the option for an interchangeable drum. I can have more than one drum and just have the one carder itself and just change the drums, but I just haven't had the budget to be able to do that. I might save my Christmas money from this year and put that towards a drum because I've got my 50th birthday coming up next year, and it might be nice to put some money towards it for my 50th birthday and maybe invest in another drum for this carder. So that's it for this section. We've got section 2 coming up in the next couple of days, and that is going to be where we are going to be talking about the fibre that we've picked, the colours that we've picked, the add-ins that we're going to put in it, and putting it through the drum carder and taking it off as a roll lag. So that's going to be the second part of the series. And then the third one, as I say, is going to be putting each one through. So the second one's going to be putting the fibre through and doing the add-ins and taking it off as a bat. And then the third one, again, putting the fibre through the carder, putting the sparkly bits and the silks and that in, and taking that off on the diz. And then I will spin it all up and I will show you what we end up with at the end. And my hope is to be able to use it on my triangle loom or my Ashford loom and weave it into something so that we can see what it turns out like at the end. So I hope you've enjoyed the first video. If you do, please do like and subscribe to my channel, and please do hit the notification bell to be told when the next video in this series is going to come out. So that's it for today. I'm going to go in and get warm, and I will see you at the weekend for our normal knitting podcast. So take care, have a good week, and bye for now. Bye bye.